Ross, welcome to your first East Bank Weekly. Obviously we're going to talk about the Academy today, but we're going to start off with the younger age groups, as I know you're passionate about all the age groups. So let's start with the under 5s to the under 16s and what you're doing with those at the minute.
Yeah, well, since coming in February 2018, we had a big focus when we first came in to sort of develop the foundation phase, so which is like the under 5s up to the under 12s, under 11s. So we've got a pre-academy, which is 5s and 6-year-olds. We have a development centres, which incorporates which is outside the academy, which is sort of like 7s to 12s. And obviously then we have our academy teams. They are under 8s to under 12s, and then the 13s to 16s. The 8s to 12s play in the Surrey Youth League on Sundays. The 13s to 16s play in the JPL. So we have a games programme across the board, training twice a week. And I guess sort of like that hasn't really changed like massively since I come in terms of like sort of like reinventing the wheel, but we've, like I said, we've tried to focus a lot more on the younger age groups, develop players that we want to see come through the academy, and I guess that's brought quite a bit of success in terms of, certainly if you look at the 13s and what the 10s are doing, and the players essentially that have gone on to higher league clubs as well.
And how is that going in terms of, the success for the players for you? Obviously you're someone who looks to go to young players. How are they doing? Sort of how's that going at the minute?
Yeah, obviously I'm passionate about development. I think the key, like everyone says, you're passionate about football. I obviously love football, but I'm passionate about young people being better and better people, better players. Certainly we've had a few players going to Fulham, a couple going to Swindon, a couple going maybe into Wimbledon and stuff like that. So we've had some bigger academies come and look at our players. I think that's something that this club's done historically as well, by the way. Like, it's not like I'm coming in and saying what we're doing is making better players. I just think sort of maybe we're aware of it more, we're sort of understanding it a bit better. And the players we are trying to develop, I guess, the philosophy that we've got that runs right through from the 5s does run up to the 23s, which I think is something that this club hasn't had. When I came in, it was very disjointed, and the staff were fantastic, but we've brought that together. So everything we do has a meaning to it, a purpose to it, and we want players to go from the bottom to the top. And I guess what this community and this club want to see is players who've been here since 9 and 10 stay here beyond 16, 17, 18.
Because a particular scheme we're running at the minute is these development centres. I know you and I have spoken frequently about getting those promoted. Do you want to just tell people who are watching this a bit more about those?
Yeah, so the development centres are sort of one-off training sessions. The idea behind it is that these kids who maybe aren't quite ready for our academy, or want to trial for our academy, or maybe don't even want to be in the academy, just want to continue playing for their grassroots clubs. We've started up with development centres which run alongside what they currently do. It's got academy coaches, it uses the academy philosophy, and again, like its selling point is that it's a pathway. But I don't necessarily think that sort of is its be all and end all. It's an opportunity to get better, to meet new people, but it's also cost effective as well. Like, it's a lot cheaper than essentially what our academy subscription is, which is some of the criticism we do coming for academy subscriptions, which I guess we'll talk about in a bit. It is a lot cheaper, so it is more cost effective in an area where people maybe cannot afford what the subscription is in our academy.
And if people were interested in signing up to it, how would they go about it?
So if you go onto the main website, if you go to the academy tab, it drops down and it's got performance centres. If you go on to performance centres, we've got a Farnham performance centre, we've got a performance centre that specialises in futsal, we've got a pre-academy which is for 5 and 6-year-olds on Thursdays, and we're looking at potentially opening one in Aldershot, a performance centre in Aldershot as well. And there's also a girls' performance centre on there as well. So there's lots and lots of stuff to do. I think one of the sort of criticisms that we come in for as well is the lack of exposure we have, and the lack of understanding, the lack of awareness of what is going on within the academy, but that's something that I'm working hard with yourself and Danny and Elmore to try and improve. It's never easy, but it's something we're working on.
And looking at more of the older age groups now, you're under 17s, under 23s. Just tell us a bit more about what they're doing at the minute and their successes.
Yeah, so the 17s to 23s was sort of, again, that's been massively up and down over the years. It does develop players. It has had some great academy managers who've done some fantastic things. But coming in, it wasn't consistent and it wasn't sort of stable. I like to think that it is a lot more stable with the use of Alderwood, the partnership that we've got with the local school, the use of their facilities, but also sort of like works with the community. We're working with board of governors there and that type of stuff, and the foundation more. But also like the 17s to 23s, we are now classed as a National League Academy. We passed an audit, which is a new scheme which was developed this year. So that's fantastic. That hopefully will help us attract better players. Certainly, hopefully, better players in the area, which is like, obviously I'm not a local, but I want to see local boys on the pitch. That's one of my aims. Certainly, the more local boys we've got coming through, I'm sure the better it'll be for the fans and stuff. Because
it's important to have that. Obviously, they're getting to the age where they're sort of looking for first team football and regular football. And I know we spoke previously about having links to the first team. Want to talk to you a bit more about that at all?
Yeah, so obviously Danny coming in. Danny's got a great academy experience, and Anwar coming in as well. Like, they've been fantastic. Anwar in particular has like supported us with recruitment of players. Danny has been fantastic in advice and guidance, and we've actually started a player pathway committee. Parent pathway committee, parent pathway committee, which is getting the parents more involved in what we're doing at the academy, but also sort of like Danny was at the last meeting, and it was great to sort of see some of his ideas and how he wants to bring the academy to more fruition. So yeah, working very, very closely with them, definitely. I think one of the big problems that this club has had in the past, and I don't think this is just specific to this club, I mean it's like non-league clubs in general. When players get to 18, 19, there's that commitment whereby the good players like Ben House and Brian Gallack, I guess, are two recent names, they get offered contracts elsewhere, something that's very difficult for us to do at that age group. We don't have the funding, we don't have the Football League funding, but it's something we're trying to develop, and we're looking at different options of how we can start to contract players who, when they get to 18, 19, who might not be ready, but we're sure there will be a little bit later, and trying to keep hold of them. But we're not the only club that sort of suffers with that, definitely.
Before those success stories, naturally there's kids who are not going to make it as footballers. Yeah. It's important to have those second choices, if you will, those coach badges. I know that's something you've been speaking about to me before as well.
Yes, so obviously by process I guess you can gather that they're not all going to make it, so it's finding or adding value to what they currently do. So like FA courses and FA level 1s, FA level 2s we deliver with the 16 to 19s. We do a lot of employability, so education and values, certainly with the older boys, the 16 to 23s. The younger ones, we have a big emphasis on life skills and values and development, with the understanding that if we can get one a year, so one professional, one moving into the first team a year, that's a success. But understanding that there is then another 269 boys that we need to make sure are going to be a success in something else. So giving them life skills and giving them key employability skills is something we try to work, even from probably as young as 8 and 9, but not quite specifically like as we would do 16, 19, but giving them good values and people skills early doors.
And as important as where we are at the minute, it's important obviously to look forward as well. What are the future plans for you and the rest of the academy?
Yeah, so like stability has to be my first sort of like first word. Like this academy in particular has been reliant on academy managers, has been unstable in the past, unstable more often than not, through various reasons. It's been, like I said, very academy manager reliant, so someone comes in, does a good job and then goes and then sort of like falls by the wayside a little bit. So I think what we need to do is put things in place so that if someone does go out, someone just slots straight back in, adds their own ideas and takes it wherever. So that's one of the big things. I always do think, it sounds daft, I think, where's it going to be when I leave? That's important to me, and I want it to leave it in a good place, but I want it to leave it in a place where someone comes in and makes it better, I guess. So that's important. So getting the right staff in place is going to be really important, which is something we're trying to do at the minute, get some full-time staff in. The development of the development centres, that's really important. Again, like, that's working with the community. The subscriptions, which is something that gets thrown at the club, certainly in the local community, that we're in it for the money and we charge X to make X. I can assure people that isn't the case. Like, it isn't cheap to run twice a week with a games programme, play academy teams and pay staff. So that is essentially the cost. But bringing that down, or finding ways and methods to bring that down, is sort of like high on my agenda. Like how can we source sponsorship? Can we source different commercial arms to try and sort of reduce that cost? So that's something we want to try and do.
And obviously those are our future plans, but obviously we're here in the present. What successes have you had so far that you can say, I want to share with you, this is what I'm proud of?
Yeah, so football-wise, like players, we've got 2 players who train full-time with the first team at the minute. We've got 4 or 5 squad numbers. I think that's a big success. Like I said to you, getting 1 for a year would be great, but we've got Reece Miller and Ryan Hall, who both train full-time with the first team. Ryan's a huge success. Harry Taylor at the minute, who's an under-18, who's just on trial at Fulham. I think that's a huge success to how much he's come through. He's from our academy as well, so he was in the younger age groups, so that's great. But the biggest success is the fact that the feedback we get from parents, the feedback we get from people in the community, the fact that now we are turning people away because we don't have enough space in certain age groups, or in most of the age groups, and the fact that the kids seem to be enjoying it. Certainly the younger ones seem to be massively enjoying it. That's success to me. So yeah.
And just finally, any future plans or events you have coming up with the academy?
So development centres, which we push pretty hard. Obviously, we got camps are ongoing. The age groups obviously play games at Aldershot on weekends, so it'd be good to get some. People go down and watch. The 23s play at Leatherhead Youth at home. That's also a priority to get that more local. The under 18s play at Aldershot on Monday nights, so lots of stuff going on in terms of games. I think that's it.
And where would be the best place for people to find out more about these information?
All on the website. There is obviously a criticism that there isn't enough information. Everything's on the website. If you go to Academy, it tells you about what we're doing. The Twitter feed is linked to it. The Instagram obviously is linked to the Twitter feed, which we try and update as often as we can, really.
Click here to watch the next video. Click here to subscribe.